What's going on, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Welcome to Texas Podcast. Thank you for all the day ones, all the new subscribers, likes, comments, feedback. Thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. First of all, I want to thank everybody out there. Tell every father's been out there putting in the work. Happy Father's Day. I know it's a role that's not really appreciated. You know what I mean? They're not really acknowledged most of the time, but so happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers putting in the work. You know what I mean? Hopefully, everybody's having a good weekend. I'm about to go have dinner, and I'll probably go do something with my son afterward, right? Well, there ain't too much to do over here. You know what I mean? It's like main event. Uh, they got this thing called Andretti go kart. It's like an indoor go kart type of deal. I ain't been there. They barely opened it up maybe a couple of years ago, or maybe about a year or two. So I'll probably go there with my kid and probably play I don't know. They got like it's like a little bowling ball, but it's not really bowling ball. It's almost like a smaller version. Pinball, I think they might call it pinball, not bowling ball. And then they got the indoor go kart. So, hopefully everybody's out there having a good Father's Day. You know, like I said, it's not a role that gets acknowledged and glorified, and you know, as Mother's Day, which is rightfully so. You know what I mean, man? It's rightfully so. Mothers. Even in my situation, my mom's. They're the lovers and the caretakers. My my role as a father is to be the protector and the provider and the guider. You know what I mean, and the comforter, and you know uh, having a boy. You can't give him too much love either. You know what I mean? The mom's already doing that as it is. You know, uh, so you got to be the more the discipliner, and even through man that I've never physically hit none of my kids. You know what I mean? I never disciplined them. I've never disciplined them physically, and that's a good thing, man. Because I grew up being physically punished, right? Uh, you know, God forbid I get a call from the school. I mean a guaranteed ass whooping. You know what I mean? So I kind of not dealt that kind of corporal punishment to my kids. It didn't help. So I mean, there was no point in me trying to go that route of being that disciplinary. If it didn't work with me, you know what I mean? It basically, in the truth, it basically kind of like animosity towards my father, right? Uh, Not hatred because I love the man, right? But at the moment, it's like, man, why is this dude hitting me like this? You know what I mean? It's like, uh, but at the same time, it's like, uh, the man didn't know no better, right? The man didn't know no better, so it's just the way it is. I love the man, and I'm still glad that I still have him to this day. You know what I mean? That I can call him up and hear his voice. And it feels good, man. And like I said, I went to prison in 2001, got out in 2003, had my first kid, I think, in 2004, 2005, I think 2004. And then I had another one 11 months later. They're like 11 months apart or 10 months. They're like 10 months apart. Not even a full year, right? They're not even a year apart. They're like 10 months apart. As soon as she had the first one, I mean, I don't even think I let her heal up. Because 9 months later, 10 months later, I had my daughter. But it feels good. You know what I mean? I got full custody of them. I got full custody of them. I think in 2007, 2008. I can't remember, but I got full custody of both of them, right? And that day that I got full custody of them, man, I did it pro se, which means you're representing yourself. I filed all my motions. I filed so that could, I mean, uh, my baby mama, she's still to this day, she's still struggling. You know what I mean? It's sad to say, she's still struggling. You know what I mean? But I think now she's kind of, I think she's been doing that shit for so long, man, that I think now she's probably like became kind of like schizophrenic type of shit. You know what I mean? Because my son be telling me, yeah, sometimes he be calling her, you know what I mean? But the thing is, man, it's not always at the mothers, because once I got custody of my kids, man, she never called them, man. Not even on birthdays, not even to say what's up to them. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, this bitch. You know, the thing is, man, I wasn't even pressuring the bitch about the child support. You know what I mean? She still owes to this day right now, man. She owes me like $30,000 of back due child support. Right? Will I ever get it? Most likely never. All right. I most likely, unless she hits the lottery, you know what I mean? Then I could probably get it. But I'm not counting on that money, right? I don't see I still took care of my kids regardless if she was gonna give me money or not, right? That was my responsibility, my kids. So if she paid me or not, or whatever, it wasn't too much of a that big of a deal. Because I still provided for my kids, right? And it's sad to say, that once I got custody of my kids, it seemed like my kids were just basically a paycheck to her, right? That's all they were, a paycheck, right? Because she was getting all this government assistance, uh, TANF, uh, not only food stamps, Medicaid, she was getting cash too, right? What they call TANF. It simulates food stamps, right? But at the end of the day, the dad has to pay for that shit, right? I have to. Everything that she used, I had to reimburse the state, right? I had to pay the state back, right? I had to pay everything that she used, right? So when I got full custody of my kids, I'm like, fuck, man, this bitch, you know, I thought maybe I could get benefits too, right? I said, man, I'm gonna go apply for food stamps and all this. I'm gonna go apply for Medicaid. I'm gonna go apply. I'm like, fuck, I'm already working, so whatever they can give me will probably help, man. Fuck. I mean, she wouldn't work and they would give her all this money and benefits and plus my child support check. I'm like, man, this bitch should have been stable enough. I'm thinking, but then I applied. I went to go apply, and they only try to give me $15 worth of food stamps, right? I'm like, ain't this a bitch? I'm like, how come I can't rack up the bill like she racked up the bill? I mean, she racked up a hellified bill that at the end of the day, I had to be responsible for it. But it's different, it's that's why every time I would get kicked out the courtroom, right? Which basically the Zoom meetings, right, for child payments and shit. And I'm like, man, fuck, y'all ran me through the ringer, right? Y'all ran me through the. I basically had to be supporting two households, right? I had to support my house with my wife that I had at the time, well, that I still have, and then my ex, right, and the kids. So at the time I had to be a provider for two fucking households, and I'm like, I thought me getting my kids, I was gonna be able to like, hell no. The state of Texas said, hell no, man. We give you $15 worth of food stamps. Uh, I'm like, well, fuck that. Y'all can keep that. I thought I was gonna be able to at least get like $200-300 worth of food stamps, man. Fuck no. But it's man, it's being a father, man. It's just more than just being a sperm donor, man. You know, me when I had my son, I can say that I've never been to prison, right? My kids don't know me being in a prison, right? My kids don't know, they don't, they haven't experienced me being in prison or gone away. You know what I mean? I've been, gone by choice or, me and their mother not working out, right? And at the time, man, it was mostly the mom, man. The moms are so evil, man. Perfect example on my end, right? On my end, I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing, right? The child support, automatically they were taking it out of my checks. Every time I get paid, every 2 weeks, they were taking a portion out of my check to pay child support, right? So it was cool. I guess I didn't see it, right? I didn't. I guess it hurts more when you actually see it and they actually take it away. But when they would take it from your check, it's just like fuck some more taxes, right? So now you got to, put in some more overtime to kind of compensate for that fucking shit, right? But then again, the more overtime you work, the more taxes. So it's like fuck. But you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to sacrifice and be a provider, man. Be a provider. And the thing about it, man, is that when she had custody of my kids, and like days like this that I would want to spend with them, or even on the weekends, man, even though I was entitled by court rulings that we had a split custody, right? But she had full custody at the time, but split, right? I had my rights. Every 2 weeks she would, they would have to come with me, vice versa. So I had my rights, but she would always say, "Oh no, we're doing family time. We're doing family time." And that shit would hurt, man. You know, but all along she was fucking, you know, masquerading and hiding a fucking, I guess, a heavy substance abuse. You know what I mean? All this time I didn't know that shit, right? Because honest to truth, man, when she was with me, uh, she never did no hardcore drugs, right? I mean, she would smoke every now and then with me, but that was about it. You know what I mean? She didn't drink. She wasn't what she is now. You know what I mean? She wasn't that woman that I met. We're only 3 years apart. You know what I mean? She's only 3 years apart from me. You know what I mean? My first baby mama, she's only like 3 years apart from me. You know what I mean? So we had a lot of common, you know what I mean? But I guess she started running against, you know what I mean? She started going, I think this is what happened, man. She started going to this place called Victory Outreach, which is like a church, right? A church in itself, but almost like a church slash type of rehab type of deal, right? It's I think this Victory Outreach started like somewhere in California, if I'm correct. Might be wrong. But it started somewhere down there, right? So they started a branch over here, and she started attending this, right? And this is after me and her had already split up, right? Me and her had already split up, right? I'm at this point, I'm already moved in with my current wife that I have now, right? So she starts attending these Victory Outreach and whatnot. So I don't pay it no mind, right? I'm like, okay, whatnot. But I guess during that time she was attending there, she must have met a drug addict, right? I mean, a drug addict that was either trying to get themselves clean, going to church, and she you know, probably found somebody there. You know what I mean? And that's what I think led her past to destruction, right? Because with me, she never did that, man. And I was a hardcore pharmaceutical, right? My choice of out there, where my customers were hard, right? That's what's preference in my neighborhood, and that's what most of my customers preferred was hard. So never once, right? Never once did my shit come up short, or like my stash come up missing, or any kind of shady shit that I would be like, man, is this bitch smoking behind my back or something? No, no, it was nothing like, not with me, right? But then again, I didn't indulge in those type of heavy habits, right? I've experienced everything, right? I've tried and dabbed, but uh I've never really been addicted to anything, right? I don't like uppers. I hate uppers because uh I'm already paranoid as it is. I'm already self motivated. I already have adrenaline. You don't need too much for me to be ticked off. You know what I mean? So uh and I've tried it, and I don't like the feeling. It's like fucking Red Bulls and coffee, my heart be beating. It's just too. I don't like that, right? So I've never been like uh the only one that I can say that you could say you're addicted would be the Mary Jane, right? Mary Jane. I mean, started maybe it's 12 years and I haven't let go. That's a long fucking time. So yeah, I guess if I was to quit, I'd probably go fucking like, I don't know, man. Even it's sad to say that those 2 years that I was in prison, I didn't even stop smoking. Right? I was still smoking real Mary Jane. It wasn't this K2 bullshit that they have now. Right? I was actually still smoking, real bud. So then again, man, it's like Dave Chappelle said, man, you ain't never seen nobody's versus weed. You know what I mean? But I've seen people out there most down and out, right, trying to get that next hit, or begging you and crying and come on, man, I got you next time. I only got $2. I only got $3. You know what I mean? And you can give them the crumbs in the fucking bag. You can pull out your bag and you see whatever crumbs you got, and you toss them. They'll be happy. But all this that I experienced was before I had my kids, right? Yes, they see me the first couple of years before I got out the streets and started becoming what you be called a law abiding citizen, right? Once I had my son, uh, the way I see it was he saved my life, right? When I had my first son, he saved my life. By what I say, he saved my life was uh, he made me open up my eyes and realize all the what ifs, right? I had just got out of jail for doing 2 years, and I'm like, man, do you want to go back? And don't say, man, when I got out of prison, I slept on my mom's couch one night, right? I slept on my mom's couch one night. My baby mama came pick me up. She gave me her cell phone, and I started calling my homeboys, right? And the thing is, I didn't even get my $200 when they released me, right? Everybody's like, "No, they're gonna give you $200 when they release you, man." And I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah, they give me those $200. At least I have something I can flip real quick, right? I go get me a half an ounce, and I can get back up on my feet real quick, right?" They didn't even give me those $200, right? I don't even know where that $200. I need to go find them, right? Because they got free labor out of me. So when I get off the couch that one night, call my homeboys up. Uh, he says he got a couple of licks lined up. Uh, so I want to roll, and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I ain't got no money, got no choice, right? So go do the hit, come back. Now I got something I can work with. But once I had my kid, I slowed down, man. I slowed down because my best friend, when he got murdered, his chick was pregnant, right? The little bitch was pregnant. And they didn't even know who the kids were from. You know what I mean? They didn't even know whose kids. They didn't even know if it were my homeboy's kids, or they didn't even know whose fucking kids. The bitch was a little fucking. I talk bad about her, man, because she was an evil chick, right? Playing both sides. Um, calling both of them. When one would be at the house. Basically putting these two dudes against each other, right? And having a big play in it, man. So my homeboy, he didn't get to see his kids, right? He got killed, he got murdered by the same dude, right? That thought that those were his kids. After my homeboy's dead, the bitch has the kids, and it turned out, hey, they look just like my homeboy, right? So him not experienced, not being able to see his kids. Uh, when I found out my first baby mom was pregnant, I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean? I want to be there. But then when you're in a relationship, man, and you do too much to each other, man, the kids suffer at the end of the day, man. Because for the most part, man, I'm a faithful type of guy, man. For the most part, right? Like when I was on the streets, you got to understand, man, that when you got things going on, uh, you got money coming and going. Uh, it's like shit and flies, man. You know, the pile of shit's gonna attract all the flies. So literally, if you feeling like, man, I'm the shit, the bitches are gonna come, right? They're always gonna be attracted to somebody of that type of nature. So when you're out there on the streets, man, it's kind of hard. It's too much temptation, right? Because you can be trapping, and broads be coming up. Hey, let me get a sack. All right, come on here. You can smoke out, and it's always a benefit of interest, right? The chicks are going to go by the traps because they're like, fuck, maybe these guys can smoke me out for free, and we get to get throwed, right? At this time, y'all got to remember, man, the early 2000s, man, ecstasy was going on around big time, man. X was rolling, Blue Dolphins, uh, everybody was popping X, right? In the early 2000s. So the time frame, the position you're in, like now, uh, it's a lot harder for a hardworking man, right? If you're an average Joe, uh, you're gonna be sleeping with the coworkers, right? I mean, that's what dudes do. I've seen a lot of dudes that I used to work with, sleeping with the coworkers. But then I would see the awkwardness a week or 2 weeks later between them. And I'm like, oh fuck that. I don't want to be dealing with that shit. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know how dudes be messing with coworkers and then they gotta be dealing with them after the shit don't work out. So I would never mess with coworkers. So, when you're in that position, you meet a lot of females, man. And it's sad to say that I had about maybe two girlfriends and then my first baby mama, right? Maybe three. But it all got to the point that they all got to know each other, man. And they were all kind of cool with each other except my baby mama, right? All the side pieces were cool with each other, right? Except my future baby mama, right? They were all cool. Have you never, you never been there, you can't understand, what I mean? It's weird, right? So I can understand, you know, and especially her being pregnant. You know what I mean? She probably felt some type of way. She's probably like, "Oh, this guy's probably out there because I'm pregnant." But it's just the environment you're in, man. It's like people don't understand being in a trap is like being in a fucking bar, a club. Depending on the fucking trap environment you have, you know what I mean? Depending, that's also the type of environment you have, the trap. You know what I mean? Because I've also been in traps where it's like that fucking New Jack City type of shit. You know what I mean? Where you fucking walk in there and you got smokers here, you got smokers there, you got smokers in the closet, you got smokers everywhere. You can't. It's like fuck. You walk in there, you're getting a fucking intoxicated buzz. Secondhand smoke just from walking in there. But my traps weren't that type of traps. You know what I mean? I would have now if I knew you were spending about 100 plus and you didn't have nowhere to go, I'd probably throw your ass in the closet, right? And said go in there and once you're through, you gotta go. So most of my traps would be, PlayStations going, gambling, talking shit. So it don't be no different than if you were at a club or at a bar, right? But transactions going throughout the day. So people will come over just the way it is. I mean, you have no control who comes over, right? You can, but people get past, especially if you're not there. Before I had my son, I used to like staying at the traps, right? I used to be greedy. Uh, but as I started getting older and older, like once I hit 15, 16, I used to be like, nah, might as well start putting somebody else, a middleman, right? Homeboy. Instead of me making, a thou, let me make 750. Let him make 250 for himself, right? I still make 750, all right. But he's gonna take most of the chance, right? He's gonna be serving and he's gonna take the money. So as I started getting older, I'm like, man, I started letting my homeboys run the traps. That's why I say my son saved my life, man. There's been times, right? There's been times that the trap's been robbed, man. And luckily I've not been there, right? I've been in shootouts. The thing is, man, that it's kind of a taboo, man. It's kind of crazy, man, that people that try to kill you end up having kids with your sister or something, right? So now it's like if I kill you, now I'm killing my niece's my niece's father. That shit gets crazy, man. That's why the shit's the streets are a motherfucker, man. The streets are crazy, man. That's why uh my kids have not really they don't know that old me, right? Because when I got custody of them, they were like 5 and 6, man. By then, I had already been a full-time job employer. The only thing that they seen is that me and their mom didn't work out, right? So I know for the first couple of years, man, their life was like blaming me, right? They thought that I was like the one that bounced, right? Like I had just walked away and not want to be in their lives. But I'm like, man, it's y'all's mom all along, man. I was there. But at the same time, you don't want to be talking about it to mom at the same time, man. But that's why when you let nature take its course, time would let them tell, man. They'd be like, nah, man, it was my mom all along, right? I'm like, shit. Apparently, I mean, fuck, she's 40 something years old and she still fucking can't snap out of it. It's sad to say, man, because her older sister, right? She has an older sister that's like a year or 2 years older, right? And she started smoking rocks, man, at a very young age, right? Because her first baby daddy, which is my homeboy, uh, he liked doing coke, right? That's what I never understood why dudes would basically turn out their own chicks, man. Like he would like to do coke, and I'm like, all right. And he got his chick to start doing, which is my sister-in-law. So I guess on one occasion they couldn't find any powder, so they found rocks, right? And she ever since that day, she got turned out, man. Smoking rocks like at a very young age, like at I say 17, 16. Right? Yeah. Because they started, I mean, everybody starts out partying, man, like at 13, 14, 15. I started out with the fucking huff and paint, which is like Tolly water. Basically no different than paint hufferner. Uh what's up, RG6, glue. Uh that's the comedy, especially in the Mexican hoods, everybody starts out with that, and then they move up to uh they experiment with the next. And I seen her the other day. And it's a sad story, man, because she looks 60 years old, man, no teeth, carrying a suitcase, right? Like where she's homeless, living under the bridge. She started young, man. So I can see where she's at now, right? My first baby mama, she's still Like my son, my older son, he goes, "Yeah, man, them old beaners, them old construction workers." My son hates them dudes for some reason, but I understand, man. Because that's what all the dudes that would hit on his mom, right? And I mean, as a kid, boy, I guess that's your first love. You know what I mean? Your mom, because she was an idol, man. I would hate this. I'm like, you would think that my son, my first, my firstborn, you would think that him seeing guns and drugs, you would think that they would be with the father, right? You would think that, man, the dad's the fuck up. The dad's the one riding around with drugs and guns. But on this case, it was his mom, right? He would see his mom hustling, right? All along, I don't know this shit, right? I don't know all this. I don't know what the fuck's going on their side of town, right? I'm over here working 9 to 5. I'm, 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 I'm paying child support, and I'm trying to pay rent on my house over here where I'm living at, right? But he's seeing all this shit with her, right? She's the one that's driving with him to go doing drop offs, pickups, or whatever not that they're fucking doing, right? And the only reason I find out, right, is because my mother in law calls me one day, right? She calls me out of the blue, right? She goes, "Hey, I need you to come pick up your kids." I'm like, and she has like a fucking tone in her voice, right? Like if I'm fucking like if she's doing me a favor, right? Like I can't handle them. There's three of them, and I can't. And I'm like, "What do you mean you can't handle them?" I'm like, "Where the fuck is the mom at?" I mean, what do you mean? She goes, "The mom's been in jail for the last 2 weeks." I'm like, so you just barely telling me right now that she's been? I'm like, who's been fucking taking care of the kids? Where they been at? Because the mother-in-law, she's not the best mother-in-law. You know what I mean? She's not the best mother-in-law, right? Any mother-in-law, any mother that would encourage their kid either being a boy or female to do bad, as long as they're benefiting off something, it's bad, right? So she didn't care that her older daughter would turn out tricks, right? She didn't care about that type of shit, right? So me knowing what type of mother, I'm like, well, why haven't you called me? She goes, because she didn't want me to tell you, right? I'm like, well, fuck. So I go and I'm looking, I'm like, well, fuck, this bitch get caught for trying to sell dope, right? She gets a dope case, right? She goes up to prison. So I'm like, sometimes it's not the dad, man. I can say that I told my son stories, right? Where you can say war stories and shit, but he never seen me actually put in the work, right? Like driving around. I mean, I got guns now and shit, right? I got that, right? But it's not like I'm driving around looking for trouble or doing breaking the law or anything like that, right? They never see me doing that type of shit. They seen their fucking mom do that type of shit, man. So for me, I guess she made it a lot easier for me to get custody of my kids, man. Because once I found out that she had got caught a case, I'm like, oh fuck this. I went to go find my own motions, right? I went to the law library. I studied up the case. I went to go get a modification of custody, prove my case. Went to my hearings. First time she didn't appear to the court hearings, right? After she got released, right? because she was still in custody. She got released. They gave her probation. They gave her probation. Uh, they gave her a lot of years probation, man, almost 10. Right? She didn't listen. She ended up going doing the prison time to the females. Right? So after she gets released, she gets notified. Hey, it's time for you to come. If you're gonna fight for your kids. She didn't appear the first time. The second time, she's like, look, we're gonna give her time. She's been served because I know she had been served because I paid the actual service company to have her served, and I actually knew where she was at. So, and I made sure she was there that day when she got served. So I was actually there for when she. You know what I mean? I'll be back, y'all. I got my wife. Tell her I got. We got reservations and shit. So I'll be back later on with y'all. Fuck with y'all. Y'all have a good one.